Hello everyone and welcome to this new video on Dragonary's breeding system. As you may know, Dragonary is a new Binance Smart Chain game based on NFTs with dragons. Dragons are separated into rarities based on their power level as follows. From 30 to 49 they are common, from 49 to 89 they are uncommon, and those above 90 are rare. Dragons above 90 are minted as NFTs and can be traded on the Coinary marketplace. You start off with 3 common dragons with power level 30, and you can breed those dragons to increase their stats. The increase in stats is determined by averaging the parent's stats and adding another 20%. Because the game rewards you on a daily basis with real cryptocurrency based on your account's rarity, a lot of players are incentivized to invest in this game. This investment goes into breeding more powerful dragons, which in turn increase the rarity of their account. This, again, in turn will increase the amount of CYT received by the player on a daily basis. A specific video about ROI is coming soon, but in the meantime I wanted to share with you some breeding strategies and what you need to consider when breeding. The 3 key elements that you need to take into account when breeding are as follows. How many times you already used a specific dragon to create an egg. When breeding a dragon of a higher rarity, the costs increase on the spot by 1.5 for uncommon dragons and 2 times for rare dragons, and what type of ember you need, both in rarity and in element. For the first rule, you need to keep track of how many times a dragon is used to create an egg. In my case, I have used my dragons quite a bit. This is important because the number of eggs already created by one dragon determines the cost of a new egg. Now, the second rule is self-explanatory. When I create an egg of a higher rarity, the costs double. In this particular case, my initial cost would be 800 CYT, but because I'm creating a rare dragon by fusing these two, my cost will double to 1600 CYT. For the third rule, the one about embers, the embers rarity that you'll need will either be common, uncommon, or rare, and you need to use the appropriate type of ember based on the power level that the child dragon will have. So if I breed 2 uncommon dragons, but their child will be rare, you will need a rare ember. Secondly, the element when breeding. Each dragon's element gives the child a 40% chance to come out as that element. 2 dragons means 40% plus 40%, with the remaining 20% attributed to the ember. You need to be very careful here, because if the child created will have a different element to his parents, his power level will be reverted to 30, and you will have to breed him again until your new dragons reach your desired level. This is good when you're trying to create, for example, lightning dragons, but if you want to get your account to rare as fast and cheap as possible, this is not ideal. Now that that's out of the way, it's time for some Excel. These are the calculations made for breeding with costs included. As you can see, you need to breed 11 dragons to get the necessary 3 dragons for your account to be rare. Minor note here, if you want a rare account with only 3 rare dragons, you will need to disenchant some of the uncommon dragons that you have, but I'll touch on this a bit later. This is the primary and most profitable strategy that you can use, but you need to have decided to go all in on a rare account and invest the necessary 3,535 CYT from the very beginning. Otherwise, you could be fooled into a cost trap when reaching uncommon. I will explain that in a bit, but first off, the principles of this strategy are very simple. All breedings are made between dragons of the same element with an ember of the same element to give you 100% chances of breeding a dragon of the same element as the parents and thus having increased stats. If you don't do this, there is a chance of breeding a different dragon which will be classified as common and have power level 30. The second principle is that you have to be decided to go for rare directly, so CYT costs would be irrelevant to you in this case. The third principle is that you have to constantly keep track of which dragons you have already bred and how many eggs they have created so that you know which dragons you can breed with which to get the cheapest possible breeding costs. So let's start. You start off with 3 common dragons which are given to you for free and they have a power level of 30. Your first breed will be between Dragon 1 and Dragon 2. This will result in Dragon 4. Dragon 4 will be a common dragon. The breeding will cost you 5 CYT and you will need a common spark which will be free. This new dragon, Dragon 4, will then breed with Dragon 3 to create Dragon 5. Again, Dragon 5 will be common, the breeding will cost you 5 CYT and the common spark, and the spark will be free. Dragon 5 will have power level 40. Now, you will have to breed Dragon 5 and Dragon 4 because of the increased stats to create Dragon 6. But because Dragon 4 already bred once and has created an egg, the CYT cost for this will be 10. Plus a common ember, which will be free. The power level of Dragon 6 will be 45. Dragon 6 will breed with Dragon 5 and they will create Dragon 7. Now, because Dragon 5 has already bred once, the cost will be 10 CYT. But this time, if you followed these instructions correctly, Dragon 7 will have power level 51 and will be considered an uncommon dragon. This means that the cost of breeding will increase by 1.5, which is 15 CYT. Also, because the new dragon will be uncommon, you will need an uncommon ember or spark of the same element, which is created from 5 common ones. The cost for this is 50 CYT. So for your first uncommon dragon, you are looking at a cost of 65 CYT in total. Now, this is the part where I got caught in the trap because I made some initial calculations to project the necessary investment to get a rare account, and I was not entirely sure I wanted to do that. So I went the cheap and easy way and stayed uncommon for a bit without realizing that my decision was actually more expensive. So I observed that by continuing to breed Dragon 6 with Dragon 7 and 7 with 8, the total cost would be 400 CYT, because as per the white paper, breeding uncommon dragons is more expensive and starts at 100 CYT. So I bred Dragons 5 and 6 2 more times for a total cost of 190 CYT. This is also taking into account the number of eggs that they created previously. That was an amazing decision for an uncommon account, but not such a good one for a rare account. Because the total cost for an uncommon account was 275 CYT. But that also meant that I had less powerful dragons to actually continue breeding from that point onwards towards rare. And in the end, as you can see from the second scenario, I ended up having to breed 2 extra dragons for a total of 13 until I could have my rare account. This is why the first strategy is actually better, because it's cheaper and faster. Anyways, in continuing with the first strategy, you basically have to continue breeding each new dragon with one of the old generation dragons until you get to Dragon 12, about here. The first rare dragon that you will have and the first NFT. This first rare dragon will cost you 300 CYT. Well, the breeding will cost you 150, but because it's going to transition from uncommon to rare, that cost is going to double. Also, you are going to need a rare spark. To get a rare spark or ember, you need to fuse 5 uncommon embers. And as you can see, each uncommon ember costs 50 CYT. So that's 250 CYT for the 5 uncommon embers, and an extra 200 to actually fuse those sparks into rare sparks. Please excuse me, I do use spark and ember interchangeably because in my mind they're basically the same thing. That being said, the total amount of CYT for your first rare dragon is going to be 750. Your second rare dragon will be 850, and your third rare dragon will be 1050. This brings us to a total of 3535 CYT to get your account from common to rare. Please note that this implies that all breeds go smoothly and you focus on a single element. These calculations also do not take into account if you spend any CYT on energy in order to farm embers. And you need to trust me on this one, you will definitely need to farm some embers because they are not live yet on the marketplace, and at the moment you can't actually buy them. Thinking back at the investment I made, I did remember I also looked at the amount of CYT needed when I was thinking what to do, and I was kind of intimidated. That is why I chose to breed cheap at uncommon. But now with this video, you basically know everything you need to in order to decide on what to do next, how to breed and how to progress in a game. Thank you very much for watching and have a lovely day. PS, I promise not to use Excel this much in the upcoming videos.